Hi guys, Romans here and welcome to another music review. I review every album from a viewpoint of a musician, as I'm a singer, songwriter and a bass player for my own group Jakobej, and we have released our debut album called Pursuits in Life. And what makes it unique is that it's a heavy prog rock without guitars. Instead you have drums, bass, saxophone and keyboards. You can check out two of our music videos on my YouTube channel. We're building our own monument and Fake the New Kind of Beauty, and also a studio live take of A Way to Oppose. In the description of all these videos you will find all the information about where's the record available. It's available on all digital platforms like Spotify, Tidal, Deezer, iTunes, Amazon, Bandcamp, but also in this digipack version of a CD with a very beautifully illustrated 20 pages long booklet. So in case you want one, all you need to do is contact me via an email, on Facebook or on Instagram, or you can get one through Bandcamp. And today I'm going to review the new album from Lordi, Killection.
Music review. Music review.
Lordi is a hard rock band from Finland, and they are one of the most interesting and probably the most unpredictable winner of Eurovision Song Contest, which they won in 2006. And I've been pretty much aware of this band since then, but my first actual introduction to them was their previous album Sexorcism, which I also made a review for on this channel. So their new album Killection came out a couple of days ago, and as of now I've heard it 6 times. Let's dive right into the review. As you can see, the title is a play on words, which is kind of like their signature thing. They did that on quite a lot of their other previous albums. And basically the whole album is like this fictional compilation of the greatest hits from like the early 70s to mid 90s. And it's basically a one big what if. What if Lordi has been around for 30 more years? And it's all presented in a radio format. Basically it's like listening to some kind of a radio rock show that lasts for like an hour. And this is basically the first track on the album. It's called Radio SCG-10. This is like the fictional radio we're listening to. And at the beginning we hear these small snippets of like various tracks, and the impressions are pretty uncanny. I'm pretty sure that it's Lordi who recorded these little bits, and they are very reminiscent of like the Bon Scott era of AC/DC, then Painkiller era of Judas Priest, then Ozzy Osbourne and Crazy Train, Guns N' Roses, and so on. And we also have a radio host who, at first when I heard the album I thought it was Eddie Trunk. Eddie Trunk is probably the only radio host I know, and if you like 80s music and hard rock and glam rock and all that stuff, you must have stumbled upon his name. He's like the most legendary radio host with rock music. And if it's not him on the album, because considering the style of this music I think he would have agreed to something like this, it's a very impressive sound alike, really.
Rage and Rock and Ruiz! Welcome back to the last hour of our show.
Radio SCG-10.
We're going to start taking your calls, so keep them coming.
And there are 3 other intermissions like this among the tracks, even one at the beginning. And they kind of tell this story that they are listening to these greatest hits of this band. And basically if you listen to these songs in particular order, you're gonna summon a demon or something. It's kind of funny, kind of cheeky, but at the same time relatively scary. You know, you hear people calling, then you hear their voices backwards and so on. I think it's pretty cool. So the first actual track that we have, the track number 2, but the first actual song is Horror for Hire. It's almost like a gothic metal anthem with an epic 80s melodic chorus. Another funny song is called Shake the Baby Silent, which is almost like Rammstein, or I've heard some comparisons to Rob Zombie. It has that industrial dancey vibe of the 90s, And the chorus is cool, even though it's based on a very overused progression. But, you know, for the sake of this song, it works. Another track is Like a Bee to the Honey, which is like this 80s melodic rock song. It's a very good track, but what I was surprised with was who actually wrote this track. It's the duo Paul Stanley and Jean Beauvoir, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Anyway, I'm not sure if this is some kind of a leftover from the Asylum album from Kiss, or if they actually collaborated for writing this song for Lordi, which is kind of impressive. And also there's a great saxophone solo by Michael Monroe, who's the lead singer and the frontman of one of the most iconic rock bands from Finland, Hanoi Rocks. They were big friends with Mötley Crüe, and basically he was a big inspiration for Axl Rose. I didn't know he could play the saxophone, and it sounds great. Another track is called Apollyon, if I pronounce it right, which is almost like an AOR song with a big rock chorus, but there's enough of piano and synthesizers to kind of keep it bright and fun.
Crops can be stolen. He will prevail at any cost. Revive the fallen. The amulet will not stay low.
Blow My Fuse is a groovy riff-based song that could have been written in like the 70s.
I'm overjudged by everything that you do, but you're too hard to refuse. You know my views.
Another cool track is I Dug a Hole in the Yard for You, which is like a metal song for the most part, but we have this big 80s melodic chorus which I just can't help but love.
I dug a hole in the yard for you, so you won't break my heart. I dug a hole in the yard for you, just to know where you are. I dug a hole in the yard.
Another track, Zambimbo, if I pronounce it right, is like the parody of one of the biggest detours in rock music that Kiss took in the late 70s with their Dynasty album, which is sometimes considered to be a disco album, even though I think that people who consider disco probably don't really know what disco is. But this track, it even has the same guitars as I Was Made for Loving You, and I think it's a cool track. It really works.
With porcelain skin, she boogied so hard that it stopped her heart. She can't understand. Her neck spoke.
Up to No Good is like this hard rock song from the late 80s or early 90s, Alice Cooper.
Up to no good is what I am. Up to no good because I can. Up to no good, a vice machine. Up to no good is all I wanna be.
Cut a Fly is a big keyboard-driven anthem like from the 80s, and what a great song it is.
Can't brush aside, gotta fly. Gotta fly. Gotta fly.
The heaviest track on the album is Evil. This is almost like a thrash metal track.
On the trail of evil.
And the album ends with Scream Demon, which is another 80s sounding catchy song.
Scream demon, scream demon, scream demon girl. Scream demon, scream demon, scream demon.
So it kind of ends the album on a high note, but then we have that final bit of the radio show, and that sort of changes the things around. I think that this is fantastic concept of an album. What an idea! I'm surprised nobody really came up with that before. And even though Lordi, to a high degree are a classical hard rock band. They are really pushing the formula with this album. The songs are catchy, they're very various, what I love, that pretty much, you know, you can kind of feel as if this is really a compilation ranging from like 2 or 3 decades, because the songs are that different from each other. And most importantly, the whole album works. They did a fantastic job, and if you like hard rock music, this is a must for you. Willie, tell me, did you like the new Lordi album? I'll take that as a no. Have you heard this album already? You can let me know in the comment section below whether you agreed or disagreed with me. If you are a Lordi fan, you can let me know how well do you think it compares to their previous albums, maybe which is your favorite one. You can follow me on Facebook or on Instagram. You can find links to both in the description of this video below. If you like this review, don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe. You can check out my own original music, my live performances, my worst to best series, and quite a lot of other reviews as well. Thanks a lot for watching.